In today's video I will be counting down the top 10 best LEGO Star Wars clone troopers ever made. This was easily my hardest ranking so far, since there are so many great clones out there and it was super hard to choose between one another. I feel like this top 10 could look vastly different in a couple of months or just weeks, but as of right now, this is my definitive list. And starting off with the 10th spot, and here we have SW1315, Clone Trooper Captain Rex Phase 2 from set 75367 UCS Venator, as well as 75391 Captain Rex Y-Wing Microfighter. While he isn't perfect, this version of Rex comes with a unique face print and awesome details throughout his whole body. LEGO sadly gave him a printed waist cape instead of a physical one, but the arm printing and physical pauldron make up for that. This Captain Rex isn't flawless by any means, the old one is better in certain areas, but overall it's a great looking clone trooper and easily one of the best in my opinion. Continuing with one of his best friends on spot number 9, we have SW1233 Phase 2 Commander Cody from set 75337 ATTE Walker. There was a huge hype where LEGO finally revealed the first and so far only minifigure of Phase 2 Commander Cody after 23 years of LEGO Star Wars, and I remember how I couldn't wait till the set released. And the 23-year wait was well worth it, since this version of Cody is great. He comes with a lot of details on his body as well as the helmet. Here the helmet holes actually make sense for his visor, and LEGO even printed this jetpack on the back, which is nice. Not as nice as a physical mold, but still better than nothing. It's gonna be very interesting to see the potential value increase in the future with the ATTE retiring by the end of this month, and if LEGO's gonna re-release him in another set. Otherwise, this could one day become a holy grail, since the overall quality is more than decent, but now let's move on to the next spot. And spot number 8 goes to another named clone, and this time it's no other than SW0330, Clone Commander Wolf Phase 1 from set 7964 Republic Frigate, a set that I would love to see a modern interpretation of. The fact that this minifig came out in 2011 is almost unbelievable, cause look at Wolf. He has phenomenal printing on his helmet, torso and legs, the commander gear and even a unique face print. It's just insane. To be fair, it is the pretty creepy looking Clone Wars stylized face print, but it looks awesome nonetheless. I was thinking about including the Wolfpack Trooper as well, but since they're so similar, I thought I'd pick one, and since Wolf has the unique face, he won that pretty easily. After all these years, still one of the best LEGO clones ever made, and very deserving of the 8th spot. Spot number 7 finally breaks the current rule and is the first unnamed clone on this list. SW0531 Clone Shock Trooper from 75046 Coruscant Police Gunship will forever be one of my absolute favorite LEGO minifigures, and sadly I don't own a single one. I also love the modern 2020 style Shock Trooper, but compared to this one, you can't really win. The 2012 to 2015 clone era needs to be studied one day, cause the older Phase 2 clones were literal perfection. So many great troopers came out during the time period, we will see some of them a little later in this video, and the Shock Trooper is no exception to that. Flawless printing on the helmet, great details on the torso and legs, and while I do like the coherent style of white arms with the modern clones, I'll have to admit that the vibrant red colored arms do look pretty good. I still can't decide whether or not I prefer the black hips over the white ones, could just be nostalgia, but they do add something to the look of a clone. Before the remake came out, I wanted to own some of these bad boys so bad, and while it's way easier to army build the modern version, I still want to own one or two of these at some point in my life. Just closely missing the top 5 on spot number 6, we have SW1149 Wrecker from set 75314, the Bad Batch Attack Shuttle. I could have picked pretty much any of the Bad Batch members for this spot, since the whole team got amazing minifigures, but the in my opinion best one out of those is Wrecker. The others are great too, but Wrecker has insanely detailed printing on his helmet as well as chest armor and whole body, plus he got a great unique face print which definitely resembles his look from the TV show. I love the way the whole Bad Batch turned out, and Wrecker is kind of a stand-in for the whole squad, but even just by himself he definitely deserved a spot within this list. The actual spot number 5 comes from the golden age of LEGO Star Wars, and maybe even the single best year of the theme being 2014. SW0522 212th Attack Battalion Clone Trooper from 75036 Utapau Trooper Battle Pack will forever be one of the most well executed LEGO clone troopers ever made, and he will always have a special place in my heart. God, was I trying to find these battle packs on the aftermarket a couple years ago, and I was unfathomably happy when I got a deal on one of those bad boys. Till this day, it's one of my favorite battle packs, and if it weren't for the stud shooters, this set would easily have made it into the GOAT conversation. But let's focus back on the 212th clone, and this is the peak of LEGO clone quality when it comes to regular troopers. The printing on helmet, torso and legs is pretty simple, but they nailed the shape and got pretty much all of the details right. Even 12 years later, I'm still happy whenever I find one of these clones for cheap, and that has to say something considering that the newer version is way easier and cost effective to get. Spot number 4 goes to another one of my favorites, and this time it's SW1002, Clone Scout Trooper from the 41st Elite Corps, or more known as Kashyyyk Trooper, from set 75234, AT-AP Walker, as well as 75261, the 20th anniversary Clone Scout Walker. I love the fact that LEGO finally decided to give the Clone Scout a unique helmet mold instead of reusing an Imperial helmet like they did on the previous version. The 2019 variant is a little more polished than the 2014 one, even though there are almost no differences. The helmet is great, but the camouflage printing is even better. The amount of details that LEGO printed onto this clone is insane, and having a small army of them is never not gonna look cool. Till this day, one of the most badass clone troopers, and I would love a remake of the Kashyyyk Troopers Battle Pack. Spot number 3, and with that, the first minifig that made it onto the podium is no other than SW1003, Clone Commander Gree Phase 2 from 75234, AT-AP Walker. Commander Gree already has one of the coolest designs of any clone in the entire franchise, and LEGO really nailed that look as a minifigure. The slightly metallic grey helmet, the printing on his body, and the amount of details on the overall figure, he looks stunning and really matches the aesthetic of his 41st Elite Corps. I sadly still don't own a Phase 2 Gree, and whenever I see one, I get tempted even more. This is 100% the best named Phase 2 clone out there, but now let's move on to the two clones that are even better than him. And on spot number 2, and with that the second best clone trooper, we have SW1100, 212th Airborne from 75286, the insanely overpriced General Grievous Starfighter. If you've ignored the fact that it should have been a Cody as well as the crazy price tag, you actually got a beautiful looking airborne trooper. This was during a time where LEGO still gave physical cloth waist capes to Star Wars minifigures, and he also came with the phenomenal helmet mold and a crazy amount of details printed all over the figure. There really isn't a huge difference between him and the 2014 version, but I personally prefer the darker waist cape, and I also love that they printed his hips, which makes him look even better. Overall a phenomenal clone, and I can only dream about how good the 187th clone would have been if LEGO still did cloth waist capes on clones. That would have looked so fire. But now the number 1 spot, and with that the in my opinion current best LEGO Star Wars clone trooper is SW0377, Clone Arc Trooper Hammer from 9488, the Elite Clone Trooper and Commando Droid Battle Pack. The set he came from is pretty forgettable, but the two clones were absolutely amazing, and while I do love the ARC Trooper too, the Arc Trooper is simply the most incredible LEGO clone ever made. LEGO really went out of their way and created this helmet mold just to never use it again ever after, and they've put an insane amount of details onto his helmet, torso, legs and feet, which creates this beautiful looking armor. But they didn't stop right there and gave him normal blasters, helmet holes so you could give him a visor or rangefinder. They also gave him a brick-built backpack, a cloth waist cape, as well as a pretty complex cloth shoulder piece, which is what they should have given 5s as well, instead of the pretty weird and stiff looking one. The only downside I can think of is the old clone face, but besides that, this is easily the best clone ever made, and I'm so proud of the 3 that I own in my personal clone army. This is a LEGO piece of art and will probably remain as the best clone for a while, or maybe even forever. But this was obviously just one of many great clone troopers that could have made it onto this list, so please let me know what do you think of my ranking, and what clones did I miss that should have made it into this video. Please share your thoughts in the comments down below. This was easily one of my hardest top 10s since LEGO has made so many incredible clones over the years that I feel like this ranking could change weekly. But now I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would highly appreciate you like to support the channel. If you're new, go to the subscribe button, and if you want to check out some other videos, click on the end screen right now.